Welcome back in, everybody. A Tuesday edition of Birds 365, joined by our weekly Tuesday guest, Bill Colarulo. Billy C, just 14 days out from training camp, man. How you doing?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Felt
2
like
weeks.
an eternity when the season ended, but we're almost there. What's going on, Johnny?
Good to see you, Bill. Yeah, it has felt like an eternity. 2 weeks, though. We're almost there. If I can give you one more thing, a present to Bill Colarulo for the Philadelphia Eagles in those 2 weeks, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good one, John. That's a good one. Look, you got to be realistic, so I'm not going to give an unrealistic answer. I think realistically, I'd like to see them maybe bring in Justin Simmons at safety. You look at that safety room, I think they lack depth. As excited as I am about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being back, we haven't seen him play a full season. Reed Blankenship's been hurt throughout his career in the 2 seasons we've seen him at times. Sidney Brown's coming back from an ACL tear. So they're forced to see, well, can Bradbury play safety? Can Avonte Maddox play safety? And you have a multiple second-team All-Pro who's 30 years old, turning 31, who had some of his best seasons under new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, and he's still a free agent. To me, it makes sense. Why not add him? He gives you a player at the very least. He gives you some depth.
Johnny,
I'm not in love with that from the perspective of, well, hey, in theory, I don't mind it, Bill, but I still find it hard to believe somebody's not going to give Justin Simmons the opportunity to start. So I don't think he would want to come anywhere where he'd be a backup, nor do I think you'd want him to be a backup from the perspective of, he's been playing as a starter in this league for a long time. So he hasn't played special teams. He's not going to help you on special teams. Typically, backup safeties have to be special teams guys. So that brings it back to, all right, is he going to start? And that means Reed Blankenship as a backup.
Well, look, Vic Fangio has utilized the 3 safety look before, the big nickel. I know Cooper DeJean, as a rookie, people are expecting him maybe to play a little bit more nickel corner, come down. You can do that big nickel look. But why not do it with a guy like Justin Simmons? Because we know Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has the versatility to slide down into that nickel corner position as well. To me, look, what was Vic Fangio's answer when they asked him what the key to his defense was? Good players. If you have an opportunity to bring in a good player like Justin Simmons, who also knows your defense because he was under you for 3 seasons, unless someone's willing to give him a ton of money, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen just yet, the guy's still a free agent. To me, it just makes a lot of sense to bring in another good player. I understand your point. Does it prevent Blankenship from getting on the field and you want to see him grow in year 3? But God forbid Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or Reed Blankenship gets hurt. What's the answer behind him?
Yeah, I hear you. And it would be nice if Justin says, yeah, I'll come in for this. I still think somebody, like with these situations with that particular player, I think that would be more Eddie Jackson if you're looking for, the history with Vic Fangio, and he's not going to. I still think somebody's going to pay Justin Simmons. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I get the thought he's still out there, but as a veteran guy, he might be in that situation where he's saying, you know what? I don't want to deal with the offseason bull crap. I don't need it. He might be waiting for, and who knows? He might not want to show up for the first week or 2 of camp because he doesn't need it and say, all right, I'm ready. Let's go. And he signs somewhere and he gets starter money and he's a starter. So I still think he's in that category. I'm not saying he's a bad player by any estimation. And then the injury aspect of it, that's every team everywhere. If so-and-so gets hurt, somebody else gets hurt, you're screwed. You can't have a Justin Simmons on, pull the emergency fire brake.
No, I agree with you, but history is usually our best indicator. I loved the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson acquisition. I really did, but I said it before they signed him because there were the rumblings they were bringing him back. Even if you bring back CJ GJ, I felt like they had to add another safety because of the fact that CJ's been hurt. 2 years in a row, even back to his time in New Orleans, I don't think he played 16 games. I'll have to look it up, but my memory serves me correctly. I don't think he's played 16 games in quite some time. So
no, yeah, there's some durability concerns. That's fair.
So you have that. So it's not necessarily that you're trying to protect yourself at every position. It's a position where you have guys who haven't really stayed healthy. Even Reed Blankenship, he comes in his rookie season. He doesn't play to begin the year. Then he gets hurt. He got hurt for a couple games last year. I'm just nervous that the secondary, yes, much improved. But anything happens to those two safeties, any word on when Sidney Brown will be back? Can we expect him back? Is he going to start on the PUP list, you think?
They changed the rules where you can put guys on injured reserve before the initial countdown to 53. You used to have to, if you wanted them to come back. In other words, if they were put on injured reserve before the initial 53, they were done for the season. They changed that rule. So now it's 4 games and you can designate 2 players to come back. So they might just put him on injured reserve if they don't want to start him out. I tell you, the guy looks like he could play right now. He's tremendously athletic, as we all know. He wants to play week 1. That's an injury that requires a certain amount of time, though, and the Eagles are going to be very stringent to that 9-month standard. So I think they're probably going to be cautious. But I don't know if we have to miss 4 games. They might err on the side of caution. I think to your point of maybe that's where James Bradbury fits. Maybe the safety thing's realer than we think for early in the season, just to be a backup. Or Abante, or Eddie Jackson. But I really think Justin Simmons is getting a starting job. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe shows up as the best backup in the history of the world. But Reed Blankenship's contract tells me they want him to be a starting safety. They bought out his there was no reason to buy out his restricted free agent. They did the same thing with TJ Edwards. And that was the indication that they like this kid.
Yeah.
And they want him to be a starter. At least for, if he falters, he falters. But that told me a lot.
Howie Roseman, I actually did a video on my Instagram yesterday about this. I think some of his best offseason work was taking care of all of his own guys. Reed Blankenship being another one where didn't have to extend him yet, but they did it early because if Reed does have a big season this year, his price tag would have gone up. And Reed Blankenship being undrafted was eligible for a new deal after 2 years as opposed to 3 if he had been drafted. So why not get it done sooner rather than later? And then they did the same thing with Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jake Elliott, Rick Lovato, Braden Mann. It was so smart of him to get all of those deals done because you look around the NFL, the Cowboys, they got issues with Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb. The 49ers have issues with Brandon Ayuk. And there's plenty of other teams as well who are having
everybody
issues.
Does. The only 2 teams that do it like that, Bill, are the Eagles and the Cleveland Browns. And in Cleveland, it's because
you don't want to compare yourself to the Browns organization.
No, they do things the right way now. It's only been 2-3 years. And that's because Andrew Berry's there, who was here, and Cat Raish is there, who was here, as sort of 2 of Howie's lieutenants.
Yeah.
So they do business the same way now. And all of a sudden you wake up in Cleveland, you can say, and I get it, people are going to make jokes because of their history. That's a really good team. If Deshaun Watson plays, which is a big if.
But you mentioned the Browns. They got to pay Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's a guy who may not show up to camp.
Well, they don't want. There's always Amari Cooper's been a great receiver.
Yeah, he's no A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith.
But he's, I think he's a descending player. So
he's probably on the decline. But but you look at all the wide receivers, and I know we've talked about this before, but it was just so smart because they didn't have to get Devontae Smith's deal done. You had him in the final year of his rookie deal. You had his 5th-year option. You controlled the rights to his contract for 2 more years, even if you didn't get it done. But to get it done before all the wide receivers got paid and the market blew up, because now you look at the potential holdouts. Tyreek Hill needs a new deal. Amari Cooper needs a new deal. Jamar Chase needs a new deal. Cortland Sutton needs a new deal. CD Lamb's another one. Brandon Ayuk. There's so many of them who are disgruntled. Eagles don't have to worry about that.
And Jefferson reset the market as he was expected to. And I've been honest about that, Bill. I'm surprised AJ and Devontae didn't wait.
Yeah, I think even AJ more than Devontae. Like coming into the season, it was not expected, but it was reasonable to think Devontae would get an extension. AJ Brown, nobody was thinking about. I mean, he signed his deal 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't
but that's
Big
a
Sills
two-way
all over
street,
that
is what I was saying.
With AJ Owens, I thought Big Sills was all over that.
Well,
AJ Owens,
he was on the other side, but yeah.
Me and Sills were battling about that with the AJ stuff, but
there's no
battle. It was very smart, though.
There's no battle.
You're right. AJ didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
But what I love is you look at this offense, and one of the first questions when they signed Saquon Barkley was, there's only one football. How do you make everybody happy? You know how you make everyone happy? You freaking pay them. Because now A.J. Brown and Devontae and Saquon aren't worried about their touches because they have to earn their next contract. They already got paid. They're already making their money. So now you could all focus on just trying to win. And Kellen Moore's first press conference and only press conference so far as offensive coordinator, when he was asked about that, he said, you got to understand that sometimes you're going to get the assist, not the touchdown. I think these guys, being that they're all paid, aren't going to be worried that they're not the ones getting all the TDs. We can focus on just trying to win games. And there should be zero veteran holdouts come training camp in 2 weeks.
Well, nobody holds out anymore because they get fined. So, I mean,
but you may have a few
in Philly. How many guys of our starting 22 are going into expiring contracts? I mean, me and John have kicked this around. We're worried about Milton Williams.
That surprised me, though. Surprised me that Williams didn't get his deal done. It almost
does me too. But Bill, the point is, we're talking about a third string, technically the third guy in the defensive tackle room.
Yeah, but he's
Cowboys are talking about their starting quarterback, their number one wide receiver, and their best player on defense in Micah Parsons. And it's just a different world we're living in.
No, it is. Howie's done a great job, and I wonder. The Milton Williams one, I wonder how much of that is, and maybe John has some insight, is him not wanting to sign a new deal.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Yeah, where he's saying, look, I'm going to get an opportunity this year to show how good I can be, and I'll get my big payday in the offseason. Because I like Milton Williams a lot, and I think that's the typical player they usually try to lock up sooner rather than later. They did it when they got Javon Hargrave. That was a great move, getting him before his breakout campaign. And now look at San Francisco's paying him a ton of money. So but I'm expecting a nice season
that's exactly what's going on with Milton. He knows he's going to get a lot of playing time without Fletcher Cox, and he's going to have an opportunity to get a big payday. So, look, I've said if I were AJ Brown's agent, I would have said, dude, wait. If I were Devontae's, I would have said, hey, hold on, let's let Jefferson reset the market. Milton, same thing. I would have said, look, you're going to get a whole bunch of playing time, and that number is going to go up if you play like you're capable of playing. So I think he's betting on himself. That is what I think is going on. And when the Eagles get him in, I think they'll be working on him all summer. And don't be surprised if that's one of those. A couple of years ago, it was Jordan Mailata. His first massive contract was the day before the regular season. Might be a couple weeks in this regular season. The year they extended Avonte Maddox, Dallas Goedert, and who was the third? There was the third, Josh Sweat. Dallas was like November. Avonte was early in the season. They'll be working on him, and they tend to get those things done. So you have to give them credit. The one thing I would say about the Cowboys, everybody brings that up. We've talked about it on this show, Bill. I'm sure you guys have talked about it over at 97.5. Yeah. Do I agree with the way Jerry Jones does business? No. He's paying a penalty. He's gonna sign Micah Parsons. He's just got to pay more. He's gonna sign CD Lamb. He's just got to pay more because he's a dummy.
It also affects the cap, though, John. Like this is like, Bill brought up Big Sills. in a way, Big Sills isn't wrong when he's like, you're never going to pay Devontae and
he's
AJ
wrong.
$25 million. No, but I'm saying 29 other teams, 28 other teams wouldn't be able to pay two receivers like that because they don't know how to work the cap like Howie does.
Well,
not when you got Dak Prescott with a $50 million cap hit. The Eagles right now have Jalen Hurts on a $13 million.
Yeah, but that look, Howie deserves all his flowers. I think he's the best general manager in the NFL. A lot of this is Jeffrey Lurie, though. Jeffrey Lurie is willing to say, you know what? Yeah, A, I'll put out the money up front, and B, I don't care about the back end, so he can keep using these voidable years. To be fair to the rest of the league, a lot of teams cannot operate like that because their owner will not allow it. So Jeffrey Lurie deserves a lot of credit for that.
Did you happen to read that article on ESPN by Bill Barnwell about Howie Roseman? It's a long read, but they essentially asked the question. It was released a couple days ago. Is Howie Roseman overrated or underrated? And the conclusion was basically a little bit of both. And they went through his entire history. But one of the things, when you talk about giving credit to Jeffrey Lurie, one of the things that they talk about in this article, the mean right now, the median tenure for general managers in the NFL is only 3 years. If you take Jerry Jones out of the equation because he doesn't fire himself, but the others 3 years. And what it said is that the old saying in the NFL is 3-1 when it comes to general managers. You get 3 drafts and/or 1 quarterback change. And if you don't have success, you're gone. And it's talking about how Howie Roseman, if they would have done that with him, you probably wouldn't have seen the level of success that he's had. And it's an interesting thing because Jeffrey Lurie has stuck by him. Look, how angry after Chip Kelly decimated the team and moved Howie Roseman into the storage closet. You remember they didn't really name a general manager right away.
It was great. I was there. It was like osmosis. They went, we're like pushing Jeffrey. Well, is Howie going to be in charge? And he's talking about all this nebulous stuff. And then we went away for the 6 weeks and he just sort of let the vacuum fill in and Howie's back. Yeah. That was not popular.
And then
that was not popular.
I remember all of the talk then. All of the talk after Chip Kelly decimated the team was essentially it's going to take years for the Eagles to get back into being contenders. And Howie Roseman, in 2 seasons, they win the damn Super Bowl. I mean, you talk about all of the change that went from 2015 to 2017. Not only did Chip Kelly decimate the team of its talent, they had some bad contracts. Byron Maxwell, DeMarco Murray, Ryan Matthews. And then Howie comes in. And people weren't happy at the time. See, now you're saying he's the best GM. I actually did a poll last night on 97.5 The Fanatic. I was hosting nights last night. Who's the best GM in the city right now? Howie Roseman won like 70% of the votes. Back then, people didn't think that.
Oh, but my God.
He's really won a lot of people over the last 8 years.
I remember arguing with another host that shall remain nameless. Like when the downtick in the Peterson era started, and I said Howie was a top 10 GM. I said at the time, top 10, which I was underselling him. And this guy went nuts, and he's like, "Oh, he's bottom." I'm like, "What are you talking about? What is your thought process with that?" And we went back and forth, but
Howie doesn't get any credit either for like when I was working down there. He wasn't the general manager under the Andy Reid era, but he was that salary cap analyst back then with Andy Reid, with Joe Banner. He played a lot of part in all that success too, figuring out all the salary cap stuff back in the day.
Yeah, well, Joe deserves credit for that, and he'll tell you. But he does. To be fair, the salary cap aspect of it really starts with Joe Banner, and Joe taught Howie, and Jeffrey's liberal, allowing them to do the things that they do. But Joe was really the one who said, let's show the courage of our convictions. Let's identify foundational pieces early because the price is never going down. It's always going up.
Yeah.
And he was right. And he deserves credit for it. And
what's he doing these days? I know he's active on Twitter, but he's not involved in the NFL anymore, is he?
No, Well, the 33rd team, not with the team. He owns that website. He and Mike Tannenbaum started that. But yeah, I mean, the deal with Joe is, he wanted a piece of the team, and he was able to get it for a little bit in Cleveland. Obviously, he wasn't going to get it here. It's ironic because now Jeffrey's open to selling a piece of the team because he knows the profit that's going to generate in the modern
I heard you're in
environment.
the mix, John.
Yeah, I'm trying to get together a few people. If you want to get involved, Bill, it'd only be about
we could buy like a 0.000.
Yeah, it'll only be about 700 million for 10%, maybe.
Real quick though, as we talk about the cap approach with Howie, this is a good super chat because I did see somebody else talking about this. He says, "Will Howie's cap approach work if the NFL and owners have to pay out the 15 billion?"
That's I wrote about that.
Yeah.
Well, they appealed it.
Yeah, it's far from over. Schlager points.
Yeah, they're pretty confident they're
far
going to
from
win.
over case.
That's going to take years to go through the appeal process. But ultimately,
those damn lawyers, John, you can't trust those damn attorneys.
Can't trust
ultimately, what I compared it to is ultimate. If we're talking years down the road, and they get hit with this judgment, which is over, was listed, you got to triple it by rule, by the legal rule. So it'll be 14, 15 billion, which is pretty stinking significant, even with a league that generates. It'll be like the COVID year.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Exactly like the COVID season where it was the only time the cap didn't go up.
Yeah. So it'll be like a 1, maybe 2 year hit, but then everything will go back to normal.
Now, the only thing is you may not get the salary cap increases like we just saw this year, the record increase. But by the time they would have to pay that out, God knows what they're making off these streaming services by then. So you may get a wash. You may get a wash where it's, we lost 40 billion, but Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, and every other damn streaming service is paying us to stream our games.
Yeah.
I'll tell you though, man, and that's another, this is where Jeffrey deserves credit. You don't care about the rainy day. Like I get it. Nobody says the NFL is all king and nothing's going to ever go wrong, but you never know what's going to happen in the world.
They were willing to take that big cap hit trading Carson Wentz. At the time, it was a record dead cap, 34 million.
Andrew Brandt and I would say on the show to Jody was right. He never shuts up about it. Because Andrew Brandt and Andrew knows more about the business of this league than anybody else. He was like, there's no way. It was so unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
There was no way. But again, Jeffrey's like, all right, it's not working out. Let's move on. Jeffrey deserves the credit for that.
With hindsight being 2020, what a move. I mean, to get a first-round draft pick for Carson Wentz, who's never recovered after that. I mean, he's never got even close to the level he had played before being traded to the Colts. You got a first-round draft pick, and then would they do that in 2021? Was that the year they did it? 2021. So two seasons later,
2021.
Two seasons later, you're in the Super Bowl with a different coach and a different quarterback. That's probably, to me, when we talk about Howie being the best GM in the NFL, the most impressive thing is to get to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years with a different franchise quarterback and a different head coach. That's unheard of.
Yeah. You're right. It's so true. And now that we're talking about the past, Bill, I want to bring this up with you. Before you came on, Johnny Mac and I were in a little bit of a rabbit hole talking about Jonathan Gannon's defense, and
I can't take it.
I don't know what you think about Jonathan Gannon, Bill, but the reality is that was a top 3 defense in basically every category. Number 2 overall defense, number 1 passing defense in the NFL that year, 70 sacks. I mean, these are record numbers for this defense. And I say that to ask, what's the ceiling on the defense this year? I mean, a lot of people
criticize 70 sacks. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah, put that in there. I mean, a lot of people criticize Jonathan Gannon, but we'll be lucky to see a defense with those type of numbers anytime soon. What do you think the ceiling is for this defense?
Yeah, Jonathan Gannon, polarizing figure in this town. And the problem is that defense was really good all season, but all of the people who were complaining about the style got to say they were right in the Super Bowl.
Oh, the style sucks, by the way.
Yeah.
I agree with them there.
After they couldn't stop. You know, it was interesting, though, because you go back and you look at Gannon, and really 2 seasons in a row, whenever they played a good quarterback, the defense didn't seem to do well. The quarterback would just pick them apart. And then it happened.
Can I interrupt you, Bill? Isn't that commonplace for anybody?
It is. It is, but you also were letting it. To me, what it was the completion percentage that you were letting up. I mean, there were, I forget who it was now, not even a good quarterback. I forget how many straight completions they made, because they do give you the underneath stuff, and it's, hey, we're going to hope that you make a mistake coming down the field.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. Good quarterbacks are always going to probably win no matter what. But you look at this Vic Fangio defense, when you ask about the ceiling, I don't know. I'm excited about this season. I think that they can be a very good team. Obviously, you got a lot of talent on offense. They've tried to fix the defense. I do get nervous, though, that you're asking a lot of Vic Fangio to come in here as this savior and take a 30th ranked defense and try to get them back up into the top 10. And really, when you look at it, you lost 2 of your best defensive players in Hassan Reddick and Fletcher Cox. So you're asking for there to be a ceiling where, hey, they get into the top 10. You need Bryce Huff to show he can play a lot more than he's ever played before and duplicate the double-digit sack season that he got for the first time last year. You need Nolan Smith to show he's worthy of a first-round draft pick. You need Jalen Carter to take that leap to replace a legend in Fletcher Cox. You need Jordan Davis to show he's worthy of a first-round pick. You need Nakobe Dean to show he's not a bust and that he can stay healthy. You need Devin White to get back to form on the reason he was drafted 5th overall out of LSU. You need Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship to stay healthy and be the answer at safety. You need Darius Slay at 33 not to take a step back. You need Keely Ringo or Isaiah Rodgers or maybe one of the rookies to step up and show they can be a starter. So, yeah, there's a higher ceiling.
Sounds simple.
Yeah, there's a higher ceiling, but you need all of these things to happen. Now, look, go back to 2017, the year they won the Super Bowl. Every move they made hit, but that's not necessarily the most likely scenario. So I do have my concerns that, hey, even if they improve on defense, how good can they get? 30th last year, a lot of change, a lot of turnover, maybe middle of the pack, but I think I said this to you guys before. I looked at Vic Fangio over the last 10 years. He's never had a middle of the pack defense. They're either top 10 or bottom 20. They're never in the middle. It's either really good or really bad. So I don't know. I am concerned about the defense, as I think most people are.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, since we gave Howie all his flowers, now I'll start taking him down a peg. What in a lot of ways, I look at this team and the way he's built it, and it's like, all right, offense, and Vic will figure it out, and we'll get some young players. I think that's kind of the mentality, which I'm not in love with. And then the smartest guy in the room mentality. And I don't want to bring up the name linebacker. No, because that's Vic's decision. I'm talking about Howie.
Yeah.
Devin White, Paris Campbell, these types of players who have these large sample sizes, and I'm not even bringing up the other guy, who have these large sample sizes and haven't performed. And they're going to come to Philadelphia and they're going to be answers. And with Paris Campbell, it's not that big of a deal. But Devin White, it's a bigger deal because he's supposed to be, if not the guy, one of the 2 guys with Nakobe Dean or whatever's going to happen with Nakobe. We'll see. There's more uncertainty than I thought there would be. Well,
he's done this. He's done this before. You look at last season. They did a similar approach in the offseason. They went and they tried to get a bunch of former 1st and 2nd round draft picks that didn't pan out with the other teams. Rashad Penny, 1st round pick, that didn't work out. Greedy Williams, former 2nd round pick. A lot of people were excited. Couldn't get out of training camp. Justin Evans, 2nd round pick out of Texas A&M, promising rookie season, injury bug. Oh, well, maybe he could stay healthy. Where did he finish the season? On IR. Terrell Edmonds, former 1st round draft pick that Mike Tomlin said, hey, you were our starter for 5 years. Sure, go sign a 1-year deal with the Eagles. To me, that was a red flag. Turned out he couldn't play football. They traded him for Kevin Byard. Miles Jack was another one. Shaq Leonard, 2 former 2nd round picks. really didn't work out. Miles Jack retired a week after you got him. And then they took a similar approach this year. They signed a lot of former first and second round picks.
Pedigree scouting is what I like to call it, Bill.
But, you know, look, it's not a bad approach. If it
It's
works.
not?
Well, if it works. You know, you go back, like, again, I keep going back to the 2017 year where it was like every button he pushed worked, bringing in Chris Long and Patrick Robinson, even Torrey Smith, making the trade for Ajayi mid-season. But, you know, look, they're first-round picks he's got on his team this year from other teams. Kenny Pickett, Devin White, Saquon Barkley. They tried Devontae Parker. He retired. Mekhi Becton, John Ross, all first-round picks. Paris Campbell's a second-round pick. They went with a lot of third-round picks. Oren Burks, Zach Bond, Matt Hennessy, Julian Aquara, Tyrion Davis-Price. Let me ask you, as we talk about Julian Aquara.
Don't forget Terrell Lewis. He's still here.
You think he's going to make this team?
Who?
Aquara.
No. But
they signed him right away. You remember it was before free agency.
He was a futures deal. Howie made a big thing about the futures signings. And he's right there. He's the next guy. But if you look at what they have on the edge, in theory, you're thinking Bryce Hupp, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. Can you keep 6? Probably not. But if somebody gets injured, which they might, he's banged up, then I think Julian Okwara would be the next guy.
And you think Jalix Hunt, he's not a practice squad guy. They took him in the third round, so he'll make the team, hopefully contribute on special teams.
I don't know. They might redshirt him completely, but no, they can't risk.
You can't afford losing him at a third-round pick.
Now, you might come up, as I said, they changed the rules. You might come up with the sprained ankle, put him on injured reserve. You can do it that way. There's a lot of ways you can manipulate. It's not as fun. The NFL has liberalized the roster rules, and it's not as fun or strategic, which I don't like, getting down to the final 53. And the bottom line is, you talk about this 90-man offseason roster, you got 16-man practice squad. So when you add up PUP, injured reserve, 71, 72 of these guys are going to be here of the 90. So it's not nearly as fun from that point. And I think Howie believes that as well, because I think he really gets, it's one of his favorite parts of the job, the strategy aspect of it. But no, you can't risk Jalix Hunt. And that's part of the reason why you probably shouldn't have took him in the third round, especially when Peyton Wilson is there. But I digress. That's the guy.
Well, Peyton Wilson has no ACL, right?
No, he's got some injury concerns. But as I said, Pittsburgh drafted him, which means something to me, because
I would have taken a flyer on him. I remember in the third round, I was texting.
The third round again. Second round.
Technically, both players are flyers, right? Jalix Hunt's a flyer, and Peyton is too.
Just different types of flyers.
Exactly.
But it would have been nice to get a linebacker in here that maybe could win the starting job. I'm not expecting Jeremiah Trotter Jr. to step in as a fifth-round rookie who's undersized to play, and people just see the name and they get all excited. I'm not expecting him. I think if Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is starting at linebacker this year, that means that things probably aren't going too good.
Yeah. Oh, we went wrong because it's so much fun talking to you. At Bill Colarulo, make sure you listen to Bill 97.5, The Fanatic. Are you on today? Can you tell us?
Yes, I'll be on tonight, 6 to 10, but we just launched a new show with our friend Andrew DeCecco. So every night at 6, we're doing Eagles talk from 6 to 7. So
6 to 7 Eagles talk with our buddy Andrew DeCecco. Gets no better than that. Andrew, he might be the smartest football guy in town besides me, but no, I'm patting myself.
It's fun talking to you. It's fun talking to Andrew. It's fun to see Xander all the time. I see the Power Hour crew in the chat. I miss my Power Hour crew.
Bill. The Power Hour crew is looking for you.
Yeah, all is good, man. All is good. I appreciate you having me on. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Then we'll be a week away.
Week away, man.
Week away. Right there, and then after that, Bill, we'll be like, oh, we're at training camp today. Johnny Mack might miss hour 2 if he has to go down. We'll see.
I know
how it all plays
out. I have to step in and guest host every once in a while with Johnny Mack going.
I might have to tap you for that, Billy C.
Yeah, it's because it's going to be in the morning. Hey, Eagles, give me a damn training camp schedule, please.
John,
I'm still angry. Only one open to the crowd, to the fans.
We're 14 days away from training camp. John's about 13 days and 15 hours away from getting the schedule.
Probably, sadly.
All right, Billy C. Thanks for joining the show, man. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. I'll see you next week.
See you.
Thanks, Bill.
There's Bill Colarulo joining us, former host of the Philly Sports Power Hour here on JAKIB Sports, one of our most well-received programs. Hopefully we can maybe resurrect something like that. I'm going to try and have a conversation with Bill, see if he can do that with us. That would be fantastic. But if not, we will have him weekly here on Birds 365, which is always a good thing. Johnny Mac, good stuff today, man. Only 4 minutes left to go in the show here today. I thought we had some good conversation, good preview of the quarterbacks. I thought you gave some good context on, reasons for optimism on Jalen Hurts. Any closing thoughts here from you on this Tuesday at Birds 365?
Yeah, I mean, the Howie talk, I'm concerned about certain aspects that we'll probably get into a little bit more tomorrow when my running back preview, which is ironic because I expect more out of Saquon Barkley than most people that think he's great. But I do want to get into the pedigree scouting a little bit more because Bill did a nice job breaking it down from last year. It did not work. And, people have short memories. And you're talking about guys who have had significant sample sizes in other places that you're counting on the smartest guy in the room theory. We can do more with this guy, this guy, this guy. That doesn't matter with Kenny Pickett as the backup quarterback. I think that's solid. So each individual, I think Saquon's going to be very effective. Don't get me wrong. Again, I'm talking 1,200 yards rushing, 400 or 500 yards receiving. That's more than most people think, yet I'm the hater. But the Devin Whites, the Paris Campbells, the John Rosses of the world, come on. Could have done better.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, we can get more into that, Johnny Mac. Let's do that later this week. We'll get into some of the pedigree scouting. You're right, though. I mean, it works. When it works, it's great. But sometimes it doesn't work, and that's, that's when we'll have to answer to it. But we'll see. I mean, I think we're in a good position this year. The defense is interesting, though, John. I mean, even Bill, he just laid out like 8 questions.
100 things, yeah. There's only 11 spots.
Right. It's a lot of projection,
only 11
man.
spots, and Bill brought up like 13 things. Yeah.
Yeah, I was laughing at that. I mean, it was good. They were all valid, I thought. I thought he made good points on all of them. But, when you're analyzing it, you're like, yeah, we'll see how good this defense can be.
Yeah.
But good stuff today, Johnny Mac. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll have hopefully Mike Gill and Brandon Lee Gouton. So 2 guests tomorrow.
BLG's on vacation.
Oh, that's right. BLG said that last week.
He's in Vermont, living the life.
That's right. I remember BLG said he was going to Vermont.
Yeah. So a lot of vacations this week. So more Xander and me than you probably want, but we'll get through it. I'm
good with that, Johnny Mac. Anytime I talk to you, I learn more about football and the NFL, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure all of our viewers appreciate it very much as well. After all, you are the mainstay here on Birds 365. Been going for 4 years, almost 800 plus episodes, 1 million plus podcast downloads, 5 million plus downloads on YouTube, or views on YouTube on the live shows, and many more on all the clips. So, as always, Birds 365 is rocking and rolling. Appreciate everybody being here today. Hit the like button on your way out. James Carver's offering 50 memberships, folks. 50 memberships.
All right, James Carver, giving them out, baby.
Yeah, all right. James Carver's the man, and he's supporting the channel, and we appreciate him so much. Offer is still out for James Carver, John. I'm trying to send him to the Eagles Cowboys game in Dallas because James is not local to the area. He is down in the Texas area, so I'd love to send him to one of those games and make him take me up on it. That is my offer for James Carver, and that will stand forever, James. So we appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Love all you guys, Mike, James Carver, James Jones, our resident Commander fan who's always here. We appreciate him. Twiz the Jigga, Show Enough, but all guys who are here all the time. Slagger, I appreciate all you guys. Johnny Mac, good show today, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All right, brother?
All right. About to have a coughing fit, so everybody enjoy their day.
All right, Johnny Mac. Feel better. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow on Birds 365.